Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink is by Diatramentus, or Diatramentus, or whatever it is. I'm not good with pretty much any language outside of Italian, and even that's pretty darn shaky. So, it's a dark blue, but actually, it has some greenness to it. It's almost like it's leading towards a very, very, very dark turquoise. Still mostly blue, but it's got hints of green in it. Now, the pens I used were this Lamy Safari with a 1.1 nib. Obviously, there's a different ink in there now. And this Hero 616 with a fine nib. Hasn't really been altered, so let's check out the chromatography. Blah. Now, my camera's doing that weird thing it does with turquoise sometimes. There is no neon seafoam green, but as you can see, there's this dark slate color, then it goes into what is actually turquoise, but not appearing turquoise on the screen, and light blue and dark blue right up at the top. Starting from the top down in density, Clairefontaine 90 grams per square meter. Now, the stub nib really brings out shading, which I hope can be seen. The flow was a little wet, but because of just the nature of how a stub nib works, I feel like it sort of helped control that wet flow a little bit. The Hero Fine nib, because it's kind of a wet ink, just got fairly dark. But 16 seconds to dry in the stub, 10 in the fine. Good flow, no bleed feather spread. I noted that because of the wetness, there's not nearly as much shading. Pretty decent water test, though. I mean, again, because the stub nib moves the ink around in the lighter places, there's less ink remaining, whereas this is pretty consistent. Next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter. Again, I feel like there was really nice shading in the stub and a very dark color in the wet writing fine nib. 12 seconds and 15 seconds respectively. Nice shading. I like the pen, paper, and ink combo. Again, fairly decent water test, but again, where it was lighter, not bad. Next is Tomoe River paper, where, again, the stub highlights how nice this ink can shade. But because of the wet flow in the fine nib, this is where you see the sheen. In there, sort of like a red metallic sheen. And it's all throughout the letters, but since the writing is so fine, this is probably the easiest place to see it. So, yeah, I really like both these pens on this paper. As you can see, it dyed the paper a little bit, but not so much that it would make it hard to read. That is very clear, especially for Tomoe River paper, and especially for a fine nib. But, again, there might be some echo problems because it's a fairly dark ink. Next is 20-pound copier paper, where you still get decent shading. 6 seconds and 5 seconds to dry respectively. No obvious sheen, but I feel like it could still show up in the wetter parts of the fine writing. Here's where the overflow gets a little distracting. But again, that's very dark, that's very clear, that's very consistent. I'm pretty sure this is the old copier paper, which is why there's no bleed. Next is Mead notebook paper, where it got lighter and it looks greener. Like, this is where you start to see that it's slightly leaning towards green thing. 3 seconds to dry in the stub, 1.5 in the fine. But, I mean, look at how bad it is in the stub, the spread, and the feather. But then look at how bad it is in the fine, which makes me think that whatever makes up this ink and whatever makes up this paper, they just have a bad reaction to each other. I mean, again, that's fairly dark and fairly readable, but the paper's been dyed so much that is distracting. And Moleskine notebook paper, where it took 7 seconds to dry and 5 seconds to dry, but look at this. I'm going to try and hold it very still. See that crazy amount of feathering? And not just in the stub. I mean, look at that. Again, whatever makes up this ink and whatever makes up this paper, they don't play well with each other. So, there you go for your consideration, Diatramentis Midnight Blue ink. I rather like it. I kind of like that unexpected, just hints of green undertone. It works well on paper, you know, I call it acceptable paper, you know, so decent copier paper and above. Yeah, it's slightly wet, but it's nice, and it looks fantastic in a stub if you are a person that likes shading. So there you go. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. Bye.